Okay, everybody, today I have a fellow Venezuelan, my paisana, right here. We're going to talk about Amazon listing creation. We're going to talk about all the kind of boring stuff. How does the algorithm look at your listing? How do customers look at your listing? What tools can you use? And Vanessa Hung, you definitely, if you follow Amazon on Twitter, on whatever, on LinkedIn, you will have seen Vanessa because she's all over the place. She's an expert on all the flat files, all the crazy stuff that people don't want to look at because they like go unconscious when they look at it. She knows all about it, getting brands approved, all these different kind of errors, anything that has numbers and errors. Vanessa knows about it. Okay, so
Yeah.
she created an agency called Online Seller Solutions Agency. She's currently at co-founder of SellerAssist by Carbon 6. And anyway, we're gonna pretty much get right into it. But welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Like Venezuelan power. This
Woo!
is exciting.
Let's go.
Ooh. Yeah.
So really, what's happening? I'm doing my training, teaching all these Amazon seller stuff. And the truth is, one part that we've never actually done extremely well. I mean, we do okay in Zulai,
Okay.
is the copy, the text. And the way I kind of like justify it is I say, well, the text doesn't matter too much. The images do everything. But it does matter because it's there. I mean, people see it and it could help your listing or it could go away from it depending on what you do. And I need a refresh of like, what is new? What are the best practices to do it now? And so I wanted to get you on as you doing a lot of work in this area. And so we prepared a listing that I started to create that I have no text on right now. So
Perfect.
do you want to walk us through like, let's just go from zero. What are all the steps? How does someone make good text, good copy for their listing? And you can use obviously mine as an example.
Yep. Let's do it. So first, to start this, and thank you so much for the invite and this specific topic. I don't particularly think that I'm the best at copywriting. So copywriting itself, that's not the thing that I'm gonna get into. But what I know really well, and this is what you touch on, the back end situations and Amazon, is that as you mentioned with Sly, you don't really use a lot of text to sell. That's just there. And you sell through the images. This is great, but because you're focusing on conversion, you're focusing on converting that human eye to buy your product. But the thing that we underestimate, and especially this is true today because of the AI, is that we underestimate the weight or the power that texts have to sell to the algorithm. So think about this. Your first customer, the first thing that you need to sell to is to the algorithm, right? In the previous model, when we used to overly focus on keywords, we were selling to the A9 and keywords. The more keywords you had, the more reach you will have, more indexation, more ranking, all of those things. So if those keywords were not in your title, then you were not ranking for it. That was like the most straightforward process that we follow, right? In this new era, and I think there was a clear shift, and right now I'm seeing it every day. Everything that I see on Amazon, it's like, yeah, that's where we're going. Yeah, that's where we're going. The system became way more sophisticated at understanding context and things that before were not connected for the algorithm. For example, when you think about a sweater, right? You want to buy a jacket for winter, right? That the implications of buying a jacket is that you want to be warm during winter, right? Or you want to be protected from the rain. Those things are like implicit in a jacket, right? In the past, with the previous algorithm, you had to say, this is the perfect jacket for warm, or for winter, for low temperatures, or this is like super waterproof, will protect you for the wind and the rain and all of those. Without that text, the algorithm couldn't know or understand if your product was actually a good fit for a waterproof jacket, right? But now, shifting to the new I guess, status quo, or the state of the art in the technology is it understands really well what's happening. So when we look at a listing as a consumer, we see many things. The thing that caught your eye, it's obviously the images. As anything that you will go in a store, you will see it first before even reading or going too deep into what the product really says. That's great. But then the algorithm, the things that are written there, are the things that are prompting the system to understand your product better. So your example with the product that we're gonna, show right now and do the whole exercise, it's great because I can prove with your product that the system doesn't know you at all. And that is where we need to be focusing on. So I'm gonna share the whole template.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna share the
one thing about this, one question.
yeah.
When did this new thing start? Like when, so you're talking about like the new era, this, the new sophisticated system, like when did that process begin, or when did it have a shift in your eyes?
Yeah, so I started seeing it last year in, like, it was around October, November. I felt something like, it's so funny. Like, you wouldn't. I guess a lot of people won't understand this, but
Okay.
a problem came up with a specific listing changing category. We couldn't fix it, and we were like, we've been doing this for so long. Like, this is a very common issue. Like, why is that we cannot fix it? And then somebody in seller support, after many many cases and escalation, they told us, like, no, the reason it's because the system is reading the images, and in the images you are exactly the description of that new category that we're adding you to. So that was the day that I'm like, okay, bro, this is a different game. And that moment, I'm like, images are going to be a massive thing, not only for converting human eyes, but for the machine to understand what's happening. So then in January, the release of Rufus, which is the AI personal shopping assistant that you now have in your app and in your desktop, was released. And I'm like, this is interesting. And in that PR release, they tell you what are the things that they consider to build those recommendations for customers when they interact with the system. So I'm like, okay, interesting. Then added, like, kind of put it together with another white paper that they released back in, like, that was in November last year, that is related to how now the system, this algorithm, the A9, understands not only your products, but also customer intent. Because what's happening now is, now the system knows that a jacket provides warmth and protection from the rain, but also knows that Aaron is going on a trip to Alaska. He will probably need a jacket. So it knows both sides of the coin.
So
The
how did that know
product
then? I
side.
guess because they just bought a bunch of stuff. I mean, that's a little creepy. I guess like
Oh, no, no.
it knows the auto
Well,
bots.
do you want to really get into it? Because I could geek about
Sure, yeah.
this
I mean,
for a long time.
sure,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is the whole trifecta that I've been talking about AI. So in the top, you have Rufus. We talk about that personal shopping assistant, right? Then you have Cosmo, which is what I'm telling you. This is the complement of the A9, the thing that understands everything. And when you say, like, how do they understand this? Well, the answer is AI. Everything, all of the three things that I'm going to talk about are AI, powered by AI, right? Not necessarily an LLM, all of them, but they are powered by AI. So with this analysis, now they were able to connect the dots between a jacket and warmth. So now it's one thing. Okay, perfect. We have this, and they call it common sense knowledge. Those are the things that for us, Aaron, like for humans, that's obvious, right? You're not wearing a jacket in a beach, like in Florida, in sunny Florida in a July. That's not logic, right? But the machine didn't have that. Now we have that power. Then it comes to the customer side. They know so much, so much about us things that are not only related to our purchasing behaviors on Amazon. So they have one thing called DSP, right? DSP is the demand side platform. And this is the platform, this has been on Amazon for decades. This is not new. But what is it right now? What I see it like, the definition of the tech book is like a place where you put ads in different publishers, whatever. Like, we don't care about that definition. We care about the definition of that is the gold mine of customer data. So they know there that Aaron lives in Florida and he has a family and he earns this much, and he bought a house and then he bought another house and then he flew to Cancun and then he did this and then
How do
I'm
you know so
telling
much
you
about my life?
everything.
Those are all true. No.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, if you want to know Amazon, if you're logging into your app on Amazon, you could request all of the information that Amazon has about you.
What?
And when you see it, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of data points, things that you're like, what is going on? So they know, Amazon knows that your wife is pregnant without you even like buying things for a baby. They know that. How? I honestly don't want to know. But the part is that it is crazy. They have a lot of data. So as a consumer, you're like, oh no, ew, I don't want that. Like, privacy, don't look at my things. But as a seller, you're like, give me all the data, right? And truly, I think we're in a world where that type of privacy is not there anymore, unless you want to live in the jungle with no internet. And I don't want that. I'll give my data to Amazon any day if I get access to Amazon. Like, I like 2 hour delivery time frames. It's ridiculous. I love it. So going back to the connections between the intent, customer intent, and catalog context. Like, what is it that your product is and when these people are gonna buy it, right? So to your example, and you can pull it up whenever you want, your product is a decoration for a home. So when you think about it, who is the best or the top ideal customer for you? Well, I think a person that just moved to a new house or just bought a house, right? And one thing that I noticed in all of these years working on Amazon, and actually myself being a brand owner, is that Amazon sellers don't really do the work of understanding who their customer persona is. Like, and versus people that are doing the D2C model. And this is where all of the dots connected in my dot, and I'm like, connected in my head, and I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. D2C, like going direct to consumer on your own website using Shopify and leveraging social media, it's been there for years and years and years, right? Like, we've been selling on that model for many long time. And what happens is that when you do that model, you really need to get really good at knowing who your audience is, because people on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest, they don't buy necessarily out of keywords.
Right.
They buy out of, their personality. So if I am an outdoorsy person, then it's very likely that I will need hiking boots versus somebody that never leaves their house. And these platforms like Meta and Pinterest and Google, they have the data about the customers like that. So they will say like, oh, Aaron, you want to target new home owners? Perfect. This is the budget. This is the demographic. This is where they are at. This is how much money they make. This is if they're, what's their female or male, what's their age, what's all of it. And that's the way you advertise in those platforms.
That's true.
That's the way you're successful.
They're scrolling and you have to understand who it is. That's how
exactly.
You have to do it.
Exactly. So when all of these things about the changes in the algorithm happened, I made this proposition of Amazon is going for the monetization of audiences because they monopolize the monetization of search. And what I mean by that is they became the most profitable search engine in the entire world because they have they literally convert keywords like this.
Yep.
Google doesn't convert that as well, but it's
No, with their
crazy the
traffic.
amount of conversions.
Mhm.
So I think something that happened. There were a bunch of people sitting in a boardroom on Amazon. They're like, "Oh yeah, we want to make more money," and they're like, "Dude, search is getting like pretty hectic. It's pretty expensive. People are like going crazy with PPC, and we don't know how else. That there's no enough sponsor placements right now. What do we do?" And somebody's like, audiences. So they're like, let's go and target the audiences. And then when this happened, all of the changes that came in through the advertising console, that you start noticing, there are small changes. Like, now
Mm.
I'll give you more data about who's in the awareness phase. Now I'll give you more data of who is your consumer. Now I'll give you more data of the market basket. Like that, those
And
were
this
the
is
dots
DSP,
that I.
right? This is not just this is more into the DSP side.
No, no, no. The
Okay.
advertising console also happens. Like, obviously, it doesn't have the specifics of DSP. It's not that yet. I bet that probably we won't have a difference between both things in the
Mm.
future. You will
Mhm.
be able to, in the advertising console, control audiences and keywords, because at the end of the day, Amazon's still a search engine, right?
Mhm.
Keywords are not going anywhere. So that model is like getting intertwined, and I'm really excited about Unbox. It's happened this year in Austin, in my hometown. So I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna release there, because I know it's gonna be about advertising to audiences.
Mm.
So going back to the topic, like, I want to create a listing and I want to create copy for it. Perfect. The first thing that you need to do is present yourself to the algorithm as the solution for your target audience. What does that mean? First of all, you need to understand who you're selling to.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Mhm.
going back to your example, you have a home decor item, right? You're probably not targeting, um, I don't know, let's say kids, or in that areas, like, you're not buying that product for a kid because it's not a toy. You're not buying that product to go in the outdoor. You're going to buy it, or the person that's going to buy it is specifically like putting the core in their home, or somebody sells, or it's a gift. But you need to understand that demographic and what's the problem that you're solving. Well, you're making a home more beautiful. That's
Yep.
the end goal. Like, that's the thing that you want to do, right? So if you understand that, before, like in the old model, everything was about the keyword, the keyword, the keyword, the keyword, the keyword. No,
Yep.
you now want to sit down and say, like, okay, I'm gonna sell to Julie,
A new home
and
buyer.
Julie is, yeah, a new homeowner, and she's super chic because we know that she likes to purchase, like, I don't know, vintage like type of looks, and she's into wellness, and she's also a mom, so she wants things that are like a good fit in her lifestyle, right? And I'm making this up right now. Like, I
Sure,
actually
sure.
will need to sit down and think well about this. That, by the way, if you don't know, and if you don't want to do the exercise of knowing who your target audience is, but you get access to DSP and you start advertising in DSP, you're gonna have data in less than a month. And it will tell, and DSP is so crazy that it will tell you exactly who the person is. Like, obviously not the name and address, but it's like, this is the person that buys from you. And so in the examples, we were talking with one of the DSP experts at Carbon 6, and they were telling me, yeah, we were working with a brand, a supplement brand, that was like selling something for people to lose weight or something similar to that, in that realm, right? So all of the pictures, all of the content were for like bodybuilders type of, people.
Oh.
But the reality is that in DSP, they realized that their demographic was way much older than what they were thinking. And there were people that were looking for losing weight programs, that, like going to
Mm.
the gym. Like, this is not the bodybuilder taking these
No.
pills. This is the lady that is like 20 pounds overweight and wants to lose weight.
And they were
And they
targeting
were like
differently with their images and their text. It was totally off.
totally off. And as soon as they changed the thing, so the owner of this brand is a very successful woman that has an amazing journey of losing weight. She was like 300 pounds, and then she became a bodybuilder, which is
Wow.
like a dramatic transformation, right? So in all of the pictures, it was her in the bikini for bodybuilding competitions and stuff. But then they changed the whole branding and they put her there before and after. And then they put her like with her family, right? Because she's
Mm.
a mom too. So that resonated with the people that she was really converting and selling, not the bodybuilder. Because if you think about it, person that is
So what
looking
happened
to
to the
lose
sales? So
weight,
what's the deal? What happened? Like, how'd
oh,
it go?
like
They
they
changed it?
they 300% better in DSP
Wow.
by targeting that audience. The business grew dramatically. Like, they were already doing 7 figures, but it kind of exponentially took off from there. And then they expanded all of the, like bundles and other things within the same brand, because she nailed it down who the target audience was, right?
Beautiful. Okay, so then do you want to open it? Do you want to put it on your thing and share the screen and look at, like, okay, walk me through, this is yours, or you're in charge of making the copy for my new listing that hasn't really launched yet.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
we
Let's do it. Okay. Perfect. So this is your listing, right? Perfect. So I was looking at it. Pictures were okay. I see one thing that I saw, and I guess that you eventually gonna get it, is if this works, you will have a trademark. I don't think you have one right now,
I do
but
have a trademark, yeah. I mean, it's filed.
oh,
I don't
so
know if I got
okay,
approved yet, but
perfect. So
the
you will
trademark is,
get brand registry. This is important.
yeah,
The brand
we have brand
registry piece.
registry. The brand
Oh,
registry is,
okay,
we
perfect.
have it, so it's okay.
Okay, never mind. Well, going to the copy. I see the title. I'm not, honestly, because I'm telling you, like, I'm not a copywriter. I'm actually, my English is not even my first language.
Yeah,
So
sure. It's
whatever
okay.
whatever advice on copywriter, don't take it from me.
Yeah, it's two. We got to
And
do
then
both. By the way, this is,
only
you put in your part, which is going to be like algorithm this, and then we're going to look it over on the copywriting, and then get like a good mix that has both. So don't worry about
perfect.
it. It's all good.
Perfect. So one bullet point, very sad,
Yeah, well, it's
very,
not like
very,
it
very
hasn't.
small.
There's no ABC. There's no description. There's really no bullet points. They just required a bullet point, so I had something there.
Yeah.
Basically, this
Okay.
is from
Cool.
zero. I haven't done anything. What should we do?
Perfect. Okay. Do you see this? This is Rufus. Welcome to Rufus.
Mm.
This is how
Mm.
Rufus, the AI, looks in a listing, right? Beautiful.
Mhm.
So, what is interesting here? Rufus prompts questions, and the questions that it takes from the top concerns that customers have in that specific niche or
Mm.
browse node or subcategory. So
Mm.
what is that the first thing that people are asking themselves when they go to this type of product is, can this be used in the outdoors? Oh, that's interesting, right? Is this, a decor for the outdoor, for a patio? We don't know, right? But when I click on the question, it says the
Does not
product
specify.
information. Yeah, it says it doesn't specify if this item can be used in the outdoors. So this is where we get in. You got, so from 10 you get 0 out of this question. And I'm just gonna show you some examples with your competitors, but then I will give you the scorecard, and that's the thing that you are able to use for the purpose of the presentation, because I created with AI, I created with ChatGPT, I created a scorecard. So the scorecard can tell me the number. So from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest one, how good is my content and at answering the questions that Rufus is prompting. So that's the thing, but we're gonna get to that. Okay. So then, is it easy to clean and maintain? We don't know.
Recommends wiping and cleaning. I don't even know why I did that, but good.
Nice. Okay, cool. You see that's another thing. Do you see that after one question, other questions get prompted.
Yep.
So it goes deep and deep and deep until the questions, repeat itself, because it's kind of the same concerns customer have, right? So can it be used as a paperweight? Well, probably says doesn't specify. Okay. I got here.
It's empty though. It's empty, but okay.
It's empty. It's empty. It's okay. It's okay. We're not gonna judge you for that. Okay, then I go to this one that I thought it was your competitor. I honestly didn't do a fancy analysis. I just took it from here. They spent some PPC on my click. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so I go to this listing, and then I go to the Rufus part, and I say like, okay, what are the things? And this is one thing that I like to see from my competitors. What questions are different? Because I want to be able to answer the questions that are not even naturally prompted in my listing. So I think the reason why Rufus is giving the most basic questions, I think this is because of your category. But you're going to notice in this one. So for example, this one is yours. The question is it heavy, right? There is another one. Can this be used as a paperweight? It's kind of like the same type of question, but not really, right? So what you do right now is, if you want to look at the competitors and see if they can answer the question. So here, is it easy to clean? So again, doesn't specify, they failed. Can it be used in the outdoors? Doesn't specify. And this is the opportunity, guys. If Rufus is prompting these questions, it's because there is customer intent behind it. And they know that they're looking, or the customers are looking for something that solves these problems that they are like prompting through the questions. So this is the whole point of, like, when you go to the competitors' reviews and you look for the holes, like people complain about certain things, you can look at Rufus questions in the same way. It's like, what is that they're trying to answer? What is that they're trying to look? So are they looking for something that is heavy, that can be a paperweight, that can be used in the outdoors, that is easy to clean, that has different colors? So, can be arranged, like, would it look good on a bookshelf? And okay, this is the other part that gets so interesting with AI, Aaron. You don't necessarily need to say all of the things for the system to understand the context, in the sense of, let's say that, will this look good in a bookshelf? Let's see what it says here. The description mentions that this decorative marble chain link can be used on a bookshelf. Amazing.
And reviews also say that they use it also.
Yes, exactly. Bookshelf. Nice. This is great. They are answering the exact question. And then based on pro description and reviews, attractive and unique addition to a bookshelf. Amazing. So that's a part. The answers, and this is one important thing, the only piece of content that we can influence for Rufus to give an answer is the content of your listing, right? Like, is the description, is the bullet points, and the images. So you could have the keyword or the word bookshelf there and say, like, this is perfect for a bookshelf, whatever. But you can also add an image of your item in a bookshelf with books, something that is telling the system. And again, you don't really need to be explicit, because now the AI is so crazy good at understanding the context in an image, that you don't necessarily need to have the keyword. So
and by the way, just to back that up, I mean, there is, in furniture listings, you can see now, they'll take an image of, let's say, I have a company called Bobby's Furniture, right? And I use a furniture on my listing, and I use props. I've seen a Rufus say, these items are similar to my competitors on Amazon. Click on there and go to the competitor. They're analyzing your listing and doing, I mean, it's crazy when you look at those things, because I don't want them to go to my competitor, but Amazon is going ahead and analyzing everything on my listing and finding something on the catalog that matches it exactly and sending people over there. So yeah, they're analyzing every single image you have there for sure.
Exactly. And it's not only like that part of they're so good at understanding what is that in your image that you can prompt and say like, oh, you can, if you don't find this, you can buy it there. But also they understand the context.
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, you're selling that piece of furniture and that is for a home office. So without you saying this is something for a home office, the elements that are inside of that image will imply that. So
Hmm.
that is where the power of, I guess, SEO comes to the next level, because you do, it's like when people tell you, you say a lot of things in the way you dress, right? Like you're not saying anything, but the way you dress says a lot of
Hmm.
things about you. The same thing, the
Wow.
way you have your
Wow.
images and the things in your images say a lot about what is that you're solving, right?
Yes.
Because your title is so small, what we could do, well, not really.
I updated it. I changed it. I updated it yesterday. This one is a copywriting title, by the way. This new title, I wrote it yesterday, and it's just
Okay.
fully for copywriting. It's just to look nice. I didn't do any keywords in the title. Um,
Okay, no, perfect. Honestly, there is a big debate right now in the industry where it's like, are keywords important? Are keywords not important? Like, to me, the answer is keywords are the way we communicate. Like without keywords, we cannot communicate. Like they
mhm.
will still be there, but instead of stacking keywords because of the sake of a keyword, you need to give context to that keyword, right? So
Mhm.
if you're going to say bookshelf, you say like this is a perfect accessory for decoration of a bookshelf on your home office, right?
Right.
That is giving rich context, like semantic things, rather than just like putting bookshelf somewhere just
Yep. Yep.
because that will
Bookshelf
rank you.
decor in the title.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
exactly. That won't be like, that is the part where you're missing the opportunity to sell to the AI and sell to that, or find that consumer that is really looking for your product rather than, somebody else. um so the exercise with the scorecard, let's do, okay, this is the part where it gets manual, and I think I told you that this is one thing that we could do prior but we didn't. So let's
Mhm.
do this. This is the scorecard that I built. So I'm putting in the scorecard the questions. So I'm gonna ask just 3 questions to make it simple, but honestly, you could add as many questions as you want. And what I do is I take the questions from my competitors. So I want to know what are the questions
Let's
that
do more.
Rufus
Let's
is
do more. If you're
prompting.
gonna do more real life, why don't we do more?
Okay, cool, perfect, let's do it.
Like, I want to just take this time and see, like, hey, let's just make a listing, right? Like, how would you really do it? Like, this is okay. Let's
Okay,
write it right now. How does that look like?
perfect.
By the way, one thing to note: this category, the dominating products by far are the ones made out of wood. They're cheaper, and most of the keywords,
Mm,
in fact, the niche in the product opportunity
oh,
explorer are all wood. Like, there's very
nice.
few. Like, they have none that even say marble. It's basically wood, and then without saying wood. Like, that's a category. So
Perfect. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so we're going to add this. Okay, then your title. This is the formula. But basically, you add the questions that you want to get evaluated for, and then your content. So that's
yeah,
the
we have no content really. We
thing.
have one
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So this is gonna be easy, and this is what I'm gonna be showing you.
And by the way, how do people get to the Scorecard? Is this something you share?
I can share with you the link.
Yeah, yeah, we'll put it in the
I'll give it to
description
you.
of the show notes. Just give it to me and I'll put
Okay,
it in for
cool.
listening.
Perfect. So what happens here, because you don't have content, you don't have anything else really. Um, I like to also take the content of the images. So here I will just say available in multiple colors, and then
And so if you were
element.
doing this, you would probably put what, like, almost every question from Rufus, like maybe put like 20 questions, 30 questions, 40 questions.
Yeah, I've done so many. Like you will see when you do the analysis. So, so I call this process Rufus your competitors.
Mhm.
And then it's just you will see that after a couple of rounds looking into the secondary and the third questions that are coming up, all of them are the same. Like
Okay.
because that's the thing. Rufus comes from the consensus or the understanding of what customers want and what they're looking for and what are the main questions and concerns based on the user intent and the data that they learn from reviews and previous Q&As. So there is not like, it's not infinite. I've done lists that are like, yeah, probably 40. I don't think I've done anything that is bigger than 40. You can take it however you want. Like, you will see that it kind of repeat itself. It's different type of question, like they're worded differently,
Yeah,
but it's
but
the
it's
same
overall
thing.
general concept. Okay.
So I am going to then click enter. Oh, send. Okay, this is the analysis. This is what the scorecard is
And
gonna
it's one
give
to
you.
five. Each one has 1 to 5.
Yeah, 1 to 5. The scores go 1 to 5. So you basically fail at all of them.
Hey, I
And
get a
it's saying,
3. There's
well,
1 3 in
well, that's still failing. No, I
No,
think
it's one
4
to
is
five
not
or 1 to 10.
failing.
It's 1 to 5 though, right?
1 to 5.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I failed
The
for sure.
content
I mean,
is
there's no content yet. If it passed, I would be surprised.
yeah. The content describes the item as great addition to your decor, and it mentions timeless and elegant qualities, which implies versatility. Yeah, I don't know. So what is that you're looking for? You're looking for the ones, the twos, and the threes, honestly, to start building the content. So you're looking for this framework of what is that my customers are really asking about the product and what is the content that I should be adding, rather than, oh, let me look at the product and let me look at the best way to sell it, right? In like in a marketing way, like go in the other direction, because we're shifting to a world in e-commerce, or I guess on Amazon, where it's everything about what your audience wants to see. And like, don't even get me started about like Inspire and all of the TikTok experience on Amazon. That's just gonna blow up eventually. So content like that is, it's fantastic, but your main goal here is to be sure that all of the questions that Rufus is prompting, or all of the questions that your potential customers might have, can be answered through your description. Because if they're not, then the system will start answering it with reviews, with Q&As from the past, or sometimes it even takes information from outside, like from the web, like the internet as a whole. So that is where it gets really dangerous, right? Because it could be inaccurate in other
Yeah, and
sources,
it's not going to
or
be about your product. It's about generic stuff, and who cares? I mean, it's at that point you've lost. So okay,
you
now
lost.
what about the questions, like the questions at the top and that are first are the most important and most likely? No.
Correct. Yeah. So those are the ones that you want to prioritize. And it's funny because you will see, and obviously I cannot give you the example right now because I don't, I already did it. But one time we did this for a listing where the questions at the beginning were like super plain, like super simple questions. When we started adding the information to the listing and we optimized it, like front end, back end, all of it, then we started seeing that the questions, the Rufus questions, were about the same topics, but the questions were worded differently. And they were worded in a way that it was richer, like, right? It felt like, for example, in this, can this be used outdoors? Instead of like, is this a good home decor for the outdoors? Now that is implying in the question that this is home decor for outdoors. You're going to answer that there, right? But the more information you give, the richer the questions that Rufus prompts are showing. Like, and that's true in. So, for example, can this sculpture be used outdoors? So the system recognizes this is a sculpture, right? Like in your case, probably won't be the same thing. Maybe home decor or piece or art, or I don't know, however you want to take it, right? Like you could say
Yeah,
this is a
but we
piece of
probably don't
art.
have culture anywhere. So like, hey,
Exactly.
okay, so let's start writing. What's your? I mean, I
The
can think of what to write
process.
myself, but also let's see how you take it, and then see what I would do and whatever.
Well, I honestly will. What I do now, I'll do use ChatGPT as well to answer the questions. So, and this is one thing. This is kind of the new debate in the industry, whether you use AI to write everything or you do it yourself. I think that there is a way to meet in the middle, but I'm lazy and I don't want to start like doing the work from scratch. So what I like is just building the content, and then I say like, okay, this keyword probably not, and this thing I should probably change it, and this thing. So that's what I'll do with the scorecard. So you can
Okay.
feed the scorecard with the score, with the feedback, and say, create a title, bullet points, and description to answer these questions based on my score on the scorecard. And that's what we could do. So we're not going to do it in this scorecard agent because it's not trained for copywriting. But let me see. Let's just do another one.
On this category, they allow 200 characters.
Okay.
But also, I think my longest color is like maybe 20 characters. So
Let's see if it takes your product, because sometimes it doesn't. Like, I will need to explain what it is. Let's see. Okay. Let's go. Perfect. Cool.
I already did it. That's
Title.
ridiculous.
Durable marble chain link sculpture for indoor and outdoor decor, versatile, elegant design, arrangeable, lightweight, ideal for all styles. Again, I think this is a little bit too much keyword stacking, right? So I'll probably give feedback and say,
Because I mean, basically, you had 5, 6 questions, and it's pretty much answering just those questions, and it's not really doing much of
yes,
other stuff.
yeah, that's one
Which is,
thing. Like
which is
we
probably
should
could be
have
better than having nothing. I mean, it's actually answering every. If we just had more questions, it probably would do better too. Because
answer
if it's 7
more.
questions,
Yes,
it
for sure. Do you want to have? Do you want to add more answers?
I mean, it's fine.
Sorry, more
I mean, with this, you
questions.
get the idea. Like, anyone could grab this and add more questions. When I look at this, I go, okay, it's only going to use certain things because that's all it can work with. There's not other things really.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Elegant marble chain link sculpture for indoor outdoor decor, versatile, durable. Cool, cool. Perfect. Perfect for indoor and outdoor space. That's one thing.
No,
On like
for your editing, you don't even edit the thing. You edit the prompt, and you. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
that's you communicate. Like it's like 1 and 2. Like you don't need to redo it. Um okay, perfect for outdoor, built to last, crafted with general. So is it yours? Yours is marble, right? Instead of wood.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
It's not just beautiful, it's durable, promising to be a lasting piece in your decor collection. That's great. Customize your look. The chain links can be easily separated and rearranged. This is probably not true in your case. So we'll need to
Yeah. Well,
reword that.
what I would do is you say, I would probably say, I wouldn't. They can't be separated, but you can say they can. If you get multiple colors, you can make various designs with the different colors or something like that when they're together, something like that. They can't be separated for sure. But
Got it. Got it. So that's one feature that you will have as a feedback for this is, well, let's say I sell this product. Available multiple colors. These sculptures are perfect for mix and matching by more than one to create personalized arrangement that adds a dynamic touch to your space.
sounds
Nice.
good.
Fits any style, whether you decor is modern, rustic, or traditional. This sculpture's timeless design complements any aesthetics, making it versatile addition to your home. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Well,
I
yeah,
think so. Absolutely.
I
It
think
could be.
so. I think
It
so
could be
because of
modern. It could be old. It could be whatever. Like
yeah,
especially
I
with the
think so
different
because
colors.
of the colors. If
Yeah,
you will
because of
have
the
one color only, yes, cool, perfect. Then lightweight and easy to care for. Is it lightweight or no? Are they heavy?
Let me see if I put the. Did I not put the weight on there? I should probably weigh it. I have the weight
Let's.
somewhere.
Yeah,
It's
it's not here.
1.74 pounds. I actually have the weight there. It's basically almost 2 pounds.
Ah,
So
one.
I mean, I
Okay,
wouldn't. It's definitely
almost two
heavier than like the
pounds.
wood ones. The wood ones are really light. This is
Uh huh.
actually not very lightweight. It's
Okay. Um. Again, there is way more things to add to a prompt in this sense of like if you have, for example, you know exactly who your target audience is, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this is my target audience, I'm selling to these, you know, women, blah 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 blah, 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 all of the things that you know about her, what are the aesthetics and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can even say use a tone and a voice that will resonate with them, right?
Right. For sure.
What you're trying to, you know, those are the things that you will add. And with AI is so easy to do, right? It's fantastic. So what's it?
So
Solid
tell you
and
what, why don't we
substantial.
grab, if you grab this, if you can send it to me on a
Yeah.
text or WhatsApp or somewhere, and I'll
Okay.
upload it, and we'll see if the questions change on Rufus.
Yeah, it doesn't change life. Like it takes
Oh, it takes a
probably
while.
like 48 hours. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Doesn't it takes a little bit. This marble sculpture is solid and heavier than a typical wooden chains, offering a more substantial and premium feel that elevates the look of your decor.
Woo.
Easy to care for, while heavier than wooden alternative, this marble piece is easy to maintain. Just wipe with a damp cloth to keeps it looking pristine. That's great. Then the description I love, like bring a touch of sophistication to your home and garden with this marble chain link sculpture, make from authentic marble. I don't know if that's true.
It is.
Um,
It's very true.
Available.
Extremely
Nice.
authentic.
Okay. Wow. Okay. But yeah, we definitely will. I'll definitely add way more questions. Um,
Yeah, and
we
I think the
just
bullets are
did.
kind of short. I mean, they could definitely be longer. The more stuff, more questions. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good start, and then we can add, and maybe when Rufus adds more questions and more prompts and all that, I think it's
Yeah.
probably great. When Rufus updates, then you basically kind of just do it over. Like, kind of what's your process? I mean, I don't know how often you're doing this, but
Yeah,
like
I'm
what?
doing it like every week with the listings that I'm optimizing for AI.
Really?
So one
Like the same listing, you update it again.
um so you can go through two cycles. I feel that after the second one, so you do the first one, it will dramatically change. Then the second one, it won't drastically change the questions, but it will add to the answers.
Hmm.
So after that, I haven't have the need to add more, because that's the main thing. Like what you are looking for is to serve the audience and what they're asking and doing. Anything that is outside of that is a good information to have in your listing, but it will not be naturally prompted to your audience unless they ask, right? So that's the
Hmm.
other piece, and why I think DSP is so great and important is if you get the data, like real data of who your target audience is, then you can start building those profiles and building those needs, and maybe even observing your audience through, I don't know, social media, or if you know somebody that is within that audience, like ask them questions. That's how you get like richer context of why somebody will buy yours versus the other person. So that is the part where, you know, it becomes an art and a science to it. Like I show you
Hmm.
the science, but there is an art to copywriting, and I'm not the best artist for that. Like
Hmm.
totally. Like I know that there is way more that we could have added to the top to the listing. I just not naturally good at copywriting.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I mean, hey, and then now we have a tool that like you don't need to be in this case. You can have some basic stuff, answer the questions, and then what about the images? Are you taking like these questions and forming images, and when you describe the images, you want them to kind of you want to show it outside under a roof that it's can be outside and
Exactly.
things of that nature. Like answer these questions. Like you're how important are those questions extremely important or like are there other things that they're looking for more than what's answering those questions?
I I think that there is always more, and that's the part where I think there are a lot of things that are implicit that you should cover in your images that are probably not being prompted in the questions. Like, so for example, one question that I didn't see in none of the items that we look at was the dimensions.
Right.
Normally in a thing like this, I will think that's important, right?
Mhm.
So I will
Mhm.
definitely have the information. One other thing, by the way, uh, on the desktop you don't have that experience, but on mobile, you when you ask questions to Rufus, it could answer you with the images of the listing. So if you go and we can
Mm.
test it, actually we can test it right now with your product. I
Mhm.
can do a screen share of my phone. Let's just do that.
Oh, well, one thing. Let me before we do that. Let me just. I want to share one part because the way I've always done listings, right? And I think I want to find out an intersection here, which
Yeah.
is in the product opportunity explorer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
here they do also. This is also AI, and they review the reviews. In the reviews, what are the
Mm.
people talking about, right? And so on the customer review insights on product opportunity explorer for this category, you can see quality, design. Again, it's more quality, shape and style, what type of wood in this case, because wood is the most sold, is exactly as claimed. It's the correct size, the value for the money. It's soft, and then the weight is the last one. And this is on the reviews because these are after they get it. What do they comment on the most? So on the questions, my guess is the questions focus on what are the most asked questions in that area, right? But then the reviews are what do people actually love about the product. So,
Exactly. Or
even
hate
with the
about the
questions, we
product.
want to, we could, there's enough space to answer both, but I would probably still prioritize like in this case, there's not much because it's just how it looks. Like there's different products, right? But what people are writing in the reviews seems more important than what they're asking to the Rufus, right? What they're saying in the reviews. Because they're saying, I love it because it does this. I love it because of this. Right? So I don't know.
Yes.
There's no exact way to know, but my assumption would be the reviews would still be more priority than the Rufus.
To you say to create the content?
Yes, like
No, I don't necessarily agree with you. So this is an example in the type of product that you're selling, right? When I get a product like that, I'll be like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so chic. Like it adds to my ambience, like whatever. But then before I buy it, I'm like, is this the right color? Is this the right size? Does
mhm.
this will feed my space? Like,
Mm.
is it made out of the right things? So it's like you give or the feedback afterwards of the experience, how that made you feel, like what was good about it. But when
Mhm.
you buy something, I think it goes more through the technical things.
The
Like
inquiry.
so for example, I'm gonna buy a laptop, right? I want to know what's
Yeah,
the
you want to
RAM,
know the
what's the
specs, you
processing,
want to
what's
know
the
this, the
power.
RAM, blah blah blah.
Yes, but then when I write the review and say like best laptop ever, I can travel the world with my laptop and it have survived with me through whatever. Like those are more like how there are made, how you make them feel through the product.
But it's don't you have to
Rufus
sell the
goes.
dream? You have to sell the dream. This is good, also. I mean, I think that's a combination, and each customer is different. So it's hard to, I think there's no right answer to say one is more important than the other because for sure some customers will be sold on like the
The
dream of the laptop
experience.
on the beach.
Yes.
And some people will be like, no, I need this much RAM. So there's probably both customers, right? We're talking about, in this case, millions of customers that all are different people. And so I feel like there's going to
And
be a mix.
yeah, and ultimately, that is the sad thing about the audience. Like, because if you're selling the laptop for the nomad that is just traveling the world and needs something that's durable and can just get beat down and you know, it's gonna be great after 2 years, or they're on a budget, then that's great. But then if you're, selling that
It's the same
laptop
computer.
to the computer scientist that is looking for something for work, the language that you will use is probably different. And this is one thing. I don't know. This is another hypothesis. This is kind of in the wild type of things that I hope Amazon goes towards. Is at some point we will start seeing a lot of hyper personalization through the audiences.
Mm.
So let's say that you're selling this to um, a new homeowner that is looking to have that decor, or that's one persona, or you're selling it to the manager of an office that just needs to decor the things. Probably are different personas. Like when you advertise to them and you target them, they're probably different. And you might be able, and I think like, dude, if this happens, I'm gonna rewatch this podcast interview and I'll put it in my somewhere, like I'll
Yeah,
set
yeah,
it
yeah.
in my wall, but you cannot put a video in the wall, whatever. um
Not yet. Oh, you
the
can.
the thing is, will start seeing more personalized experience through the listing. So the person that is looking to buy this for an office, you could at some point start seeing content that is just about that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not that far away from the reality that
For sure.
DSP has. You in DSP, you can do what it's called micro segmentation within the same audience that you're targeting, like everybody, like all of the women in, this region that just purchased a home. You can even segment them of where these are the language and the images that we're gonna show to moms. These are the languages that we're gonna show to this and that. Like all of the micro segmentation, they all go obviously to the same listing on Amazon, but you can get them through connecting with them through a different lens. So going back to the example, you could have campaigns that are about the dream, the perfect beautiful home, and then there will be other uh content that is around the
Exact
solid,
dimensions and this and
limitless,
the
yeah,
drop
like,
test, whatever.
yes, exactly.
So have you
um
seen? So have you seen a Minority Report?
Minority Report, no, what is that?
You need to watch it. It's a movie. It was released in
Okay.
2002. Okay, it's a Tom Cruise movie. The guy
Okay.
comes out. This is 2002, so this is like 21 years ago. And he comes
Okay.
out, and all the ads are personalized because it's sci-fi, right? It's
Uh-huh.
predicting the future, and like it's talking to the guy, like I know you. You want this? Come here, right? Like all the ads are exactly as you're saying, and this is now it's close, but this has been being predicted since at least 2002.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
And yeah, it's a matter of time. And the big enabler of this is AI. Because we weren't able to do this manually, like with just keywords and stuff. We needed to understand the customer really well and understand the product really well to connect the dots. In the past, it was just we were waiting for the customer to connect the dots of what they wanted, and then they put it in the search bar, right? And
But
that's one
now
thing that
Big
I
Brother knows. Now
yes,
Big Brother knows
exactly.
what you're gonna
Yeah,
buy.
yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know where, I think it was one of these like TV shows that do like funny videos about specific things, where they were joking about Prime, which is like, it's Prime now, it's Prime now, then it's Prime yesterday, and now it's like before you think it, then it's already in your door. No worries. Like that is how crazy. And I don't like, obviously we're probably not getting there, but it will be very close to that. Very close. Like, and I shop on Amazon all the time. And I'm in Austin, so sometimes I buy something and in less than an hour I have it in my door. So that
Wow.
is the thing of like, even imagine if the system already knows that I want that, and I don't know, this is just now we're just talking crazy. But
Sure.
imagine that if at some point they have such a sophisticated algorithm to know exactly where to place the inventory, so things will get to customers right away, because they know Vanessa in a week will need paper towels. We're gonna put it in Austin because she will order it approximately next week. So
Mm-hmm.
it's already there. Boom, an hour. Crazy. Like, and I don't know. Probably. Like, I don't, it wouldn't
We'll get there. We'll
surprise
get
me that
there.
Amazon does that.
Yeah, well, they have in the refrigerators now. They have the camera in the refrigerator, and it'll tell you replenish this item. It sees when you're low on stock of a thing that you reorder, and it'll say push the button and get it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's happening. It's happening. Anyway, Vanessa, I really appreciate this whole like copywriting Rufus analysis semantic lesson. And so we're gonna share you'll share the prompt, your scorecard that you created,
Yep. Sí,
right?
sí,
We'll
sí.
get that sent over, put it in the show notes, and then otherwise, like, how do people reach you? How do they find out about you? And then I guess for now, I mean, we're not done, but this is a beginning. We did the title, the bullets, and the other one, right? For now, that's like the copy where it is. A plus content has another set of copy. We didn't get into that, so
Yeah.
maybe we should touch on that actually before we finish here.
Yeah.
Just to
So
finish
what I
up.
do, what I do in the same kind of communication that I'm having with ChatGPT right now, I'll say like, okay, now you are a creative director. You need to create 7 images where we show the features, benefits, and experience of the product, and give it to me. What are the elements that are inside of the picture, and the text, if any, in that picture. And it will give you basically the images, the A plus content, and brand story if you want.
Okay, but for ChatGPT, it's all text. It won't give you images. For images, you need to use another one like Midjourney
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something.
Well, no, ChatGPT give you images, but those are not good to use for Amazon. Like they're not. You, it's pretty obvious they're not very
No, they're
realistic,
not
or
good.
at
No.
least maybe I'm not a great prompt genius on the creative graphic side. So maybe there's somebody that have figured that out. I
But not with
actually haven't
ChatGPT. I
really
think there's
played.
other ones. No, like so you're
Yeah,
saying,
Mid
hey,
Journey.
yeah, Midjourney. Okay, so we use Midjourney to make the images. I've never used Midjourney. I think mostly our guys use like the Photoshop. There's prompts in Photoshop where you talk to it and it does crazy stuff. So I think that's
Mm,
how where we're using it when you
okay.
talk to it. But do you know like when you're saying, hey, you're talking more for let's say ChatGPT or some other AI to tell you kind of what to make the image about as opposed to making the image. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Correct.
Or
Correct. And then this is one thing, I use AI every day, all day, like for almost everything. One thing that is important to understand, it is really good at doing one thing at a time. So you see how I have the scorecard, and I told you this agent is not good to write copy.
mm-hmm.
So the point is that when you're trying to do something with AI, break it down in the smallest pieces of or in the smallest action possible. So my first prompt will be, give me the creative direction to what my images need to have. Then when you have the creative direction of like, it needs to be like a chic home with a window and then a pool in the back and then a leather couch and something, now you use that to put in another prompt, and you say like, okay, now you create this image considering these elements and these like infographics or whatever, like this text over the image or something like that. So you don't do like going to GPT right now and say like, hey, create images for this listing. You need to break it down. Like, what's the first step? The creative direction of what is that we're gonna do, right? And you should approve it, and you probably will want to tweak some things because they might say that you need something and you're like, yeah, probably that's
Mm-hmm.
not useful. Then is where you go to the creation. So you can, I know that this is a practice that people do. They use AI to prompt other AIs. So you could say like, hey, I'm going to use Midjourney to create these images. Give me a prompt to make the most realistic image through Midjourney. And literally it's just copy and paste.
Wow. Well, that's
Yes,
crazy. AI driving
it's
AI. So we
phenomenal.
are we are in
I
the
love
future.
the internet.
That's hilarious. Awesome, Vanessa. So if people want to like know more, get some help from you on all the back end stuff that you do, things like that, how do people reach you? And any like last words you want to give the audience?
Yeah, so one thing as last words, guys, I have been in this like deep rabbit hole of AI since last year, and e-commerce will dramatically change, and the things that we know about how to rank, how to sell, how to everything will change dramatically. So have an open mind about that. Like, don't hold too strong your title that have worked for the past 2 years, because probably that's not the title that will get you through the next 2 years. So that is my thing. Like, sometimes I come as like a crazy, like, no, that's never gonna happen. It have like every week, every day is something new that is just putting like, yeah, a yes to all of the things that I thought they were gonna be possible. So that's one thing. The other part, if you want to connect with me, my favorite place to connect is LinkedIn. So if you look for me on LinkedIn, Vanessa Hung, you will find me. I create content about Amazon and backend stuff every single day. That's kind of my commitment to the community. Sometimes are things about AI, sometimes are things that are about a boring policy, but anyhow, you will learn Amazon and the backend if you want to be, just better at what you do. And if you want to shoot me an email, it's vanessa@carbon6.io. At Facebook, Instagram, Vanessa Hung, feel free to connect. Like, I probably don't look at those as much as I
And
spend
LinkedIn, that's
time
where I
on
always see you on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. And I do
Yeah,
recommend definitely follow Vanessa on LinkedIn.
yes, that's where I spend my time. So I love that network. And yeah, if you see me around, I also go to a lot of conferences and shows and stuff. I speak at a lot of them. I'm going to Accelerate in next week in September, and then I'm going to the MDS in Denver. Then I'm going to South Korea for an Amazon event and an AI event, and
Hey,
then
when you go to
probably
South
China.
Korea, do you find anyone who wants to import Zulai Kitchen to South Korea? Let me know. I'll connect with them.
Perfect,
Okay,
perfect. Love
beautiful.
that. Beautiful.
Okay, amazing. Well, that's where you'll find Vanessa, guys. Follow her on LinkedIn. She's amazing. I really, really appreciate you being on the show. Sorry I interrupted you. You want to say more shows you're going to be at? As soon as I heard South Korea, I'm like, I want to go to South Korea. But
No, I mean, I think I'll probably go to China the end of October. But yeah, that's kind of my schedule. So if you're in any of those places, please come up to me and say hi. Like, I love to meet people in person. Yeah.
brilliant, awesome. Thanks so much, Vanessa. And guys, stick
Thank you,
around.
Aaron.
Follow Vanessa, and good luck. Q4's coming.
Yeah,
I hope
Q4
you guys
coming.
all sell a lot of stuff and change the world with wonderful products. Thanks, guys.